Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, Teresa Harper. I'm located in Oregon in the USA. So happy that you've joined me. I'm going to give everyone just a minute to find us. And then we will get going. Actually, I have to find it too, because for some reason, let me refresh my screen here. Yep, I'm still here. There we are. That's what I had to do. I had to refresh. Okay, now if it'll just show me the chat box, that would be nice. No. Okay, how do I get there? Every time is different. Well, let's see. Not seeing that. Let me go back again. I've got to see the home chat. There we go. Maybe if I go here, I'll get the chat box. Yes. Okay, sweet. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. I am going to remind you that Stampin' Up! Has a stamp and die bundle offer going through the end of the month. And stamp and die bundles, normally, when you purchase the bundle, you save 10% over the individual piece price, which means the cost of the stamp added to the cost of the dies. Then Stampin' Up! Takes 10% off of that and gives you a bundle price. Well, right now, through the month of June, they're going to take 10% off of that already discounted bundle price. So you will save even more. Okay. So just a reminder that that's going on between now and the end of the month. And of course, it's while supplies last. Whatever you're looking for may or may not sell out, and we may or may not get more stock back before the end of the sale. So keep an eye out. If something that you have your eye on is not in stock, contact your demonstrator and see when it is estimated that it will be back in stock, and let them know that you're looking out for that. All right, so let's put that aside. And I'm continuing on the week with my, I'm going to move this just a bit. I don't want to make anybody seasick. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So we're continuing on this week with the Hearts and Hugs. I did 2 projects on Tuesday night over on my Facebook business page. And you can go back and watch that, or you can watch the replay, which I posted on here on YouTube for Wednesday morning. You will also find tomorrow morning on my KNT Designs by Teresa social group on Facebook, there will be an additional card posted there that is exclusive to that group. So go ahead and feel free to go on over there and join that. And we are going to use this to make a triangle treat box tonight. The triangle box itself, I have cased from Marissa Alvarez. And then I put it together and I've decorated it. So let's go ahead and get started on that. We've got a little bit of stamping and die cutting to do, but before we can die cut, or before we can stamp, we need to do a little bit of die cutting. So let's get out our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. This machine, as well as the white mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and the large Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, are all on sale for 10% off this month, along with the Stamp and Die bundles. So this little machine is pretty great. We're going to bring this in, and I'm going to take a piece of basic white. And I'm going to get the Nested Essentials dies. And we're going to use this die, which fits right in here. These are all nested. And we're going to use this to make a banner. Okay? So it doesn't look like you can make a banner. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. So we're going to take and put this down on our plates. So we've got plate 1 and plate 2. I'm going to put this down this way. And then I don't want to cut this end. So I'm going to place my top cutting plate before the end of that die. Actually, let's turn it the right direction. Stop that. We got to do it this way. I want to cut this end, but I don't want to cut the other end. So I'm going to place that and stop it right before the end of this die. Okay? So always think about where you don't want it to cut and make sure that your plate stops before there. I'm going to go ahead and bring that back just a titch because I need a longer die there. Okay, then we'll roll this through. Okay. And now you can see that I have cut it, but it's still attached. It's not cut completely. Okay. So I'm going to move my machine slightly out of the way, which moved the camera. Sorry about that. And then I'm going to put this die back in, and I'm going to fit it into the grooves. You've got these little cutting blades here that will slip right back into these cutting blades. And I want it so that I have the banner over on the right. And I'm going to set that in there until it clicks in. Okay. And that's a little bit too far for where I want it. I need it to be a little bit longer. So let's just get that. Sometimes it's a bit tricky. I want that to line up right and click right. There we go. Clicked right in. There we go. And then I'm going to tape this. Okay. I'm going to put it on my plates and bring it back in my mini. And I'm going to do that same thing again. I'm going to put my plate here, and I don't want it to cut here. So I'm going to bring that up and stop it where I don't want it to cut. Okay. So you can see here that this is the end of my plate. And I've got almost a stylus width before the end of that die that will cut. Okay, so now when I bring this out, I should have a die that is perfectly lined up and cut. Okay? So now I've got this piece to work with, and I can put this away so it doesn't get lost. All right. Now I'm going to bring in a couple of blending brushes and some inks, and we're going to use Misty Moonlight and Mossy Meadow. And I'm going to grab those brushes. Let's see, where is that? Right here. Let's grab our dark, oh, I had my dark brush right there. I want the little one. And then we've got a blue one. Okay, now this one looks like it could be a little bit too bright of a blue. So I'm going to take a towel. And I'm just going to rub some of that color that may be on there off. And then I'm going to take my Misty Moonlight. I'm going to put a little bit of ink my mat, my glass mat here. These will be available to customers beginning July 3rd in the online exclusives. If you're a demonstrator, you can pre-order now. And we're just going to put a little bit of ink on the top of this just to make it look like the sky. Oh, I used the green. That's why it's not looking quite right. Ooh, that is not too good. Let's try that again. Let's see what we get. I want a little bit brighter blue. Okay, well, we can fix everything, right? That looks better. More bluish. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean that green brush because I don't want the blue in my green. And I'm going to set my blue brush clear out of the way. I'm a blue ink. Get out my Mossy Meadow. Put a little bit down on my glass mat. And I just blend that out so it's not quite so dark. And then I'm going to take that and put it on the bottom half of my banner here. Just so that it looks like I have some grass and some sky. Okay, so I'm good with that. That's what we have so far. Now I'm going to wipe that clean. So a little chamois. Give it a quick little wipe to dry so I don't get my cardstock and things all messed up. So we have this piece, and we need our sentiment piece. So we're going to cut that after we stamp. So let's get us a scrap piece of white here. And we're going to stamp in Misty Moonlight. Sending a big hug. And I'm just going to stamp that down. And then I'm going to cut and alter this. And while we're cutting and altering, we're going to do some more die cutting. So let's bring back in the mini machine, but let's grab our scraps that we need. So we've got a small piece of Mossy Meadow, a scrap of Petunia Pop, and we've got a scrap of white. Let's go ahead and do this, then we can do this all. We can do all the die cutting at once. So I'm going to take my little mouse from the Hearts and Hugs. And I'm going to stamp that in Basic Gray. And then we're going to bring in some Stampin' Blends, alcohol markers. I'm going to start with my Misty Moonlight. And I'm just going to take a little, take the bullet end, and I'm just going to dab a bit right there in the eye. That's all I need that for. And then we're going to take the light and dark smoky slate. I'm going to start with the light. Excuse me. And I'm going to color my mouse here. I forgot to grab the petal pink. Hang on. I like to do it this way so I know where to put it. So I'm taking the light petal pink. And I'm just putting a bit in the ear and a bit on the nose. And then a bit on the feet. Okay, so that's the light petal pink. Now I can get my light smoky slate in here because I know where to stop for that ear. Okay, and I'm gonna go around the eye because I want to leave just a tiny bit there. And then we're going to color the hands. Okay, we'll color the rest of this with the light gray granite. Okay. Then we're going to go back with the dark gray granite, and I'm going to put just a little bit up here on his ear, a little bit here around the heart, and I'm going to put a little bit here on the back, around the bottom of the heart where there would be a shadow. And I go a little bit up, give that leg a little more dimension. Okay. And then we're going to go back with the light gray granite. I'm going to take some real small circles and blend that in until I'm happy with what it looks like. Okay. It's the beauty of the Stampin' blend markers. Okay, so our little mouse is done there. Now let's take the Petunia Pop. Our Stampin' Blends come in a dual pack with a light and a dark combo pack. I'm going to use the light here. And then I'm going to go back with the dark. And I'm just going to go where the hands are. I'm just going to dot some color in there where it would be shadowed. And then I'm going to leave that. That's such a small area that I'm just going to leave that, and it's going to blend in the way I want it. So the coloring's done. And now we can do our die cutting and get it all done at once. Okay, so we've got a little die from the Hearts and Hugs for our mouse. Let's go ahead and put that on. Line that up. And then I'm going to use some Post-it tape to hold that in place so that it doesn't move when I cut it. Okay. And I stuck that to my glass mat, not what I wanted to do. Let's grab that plate and I'll start loading that up. I'm going to try and do this in one go. I don't know if I can with the sentiment. Looks like I probably won't. Now I pre-cut, I needed 3 sets of these and I pre-cut 2 of them ahead of time. There are in this Hearts and Hugs stamp set, or the die set, you get an additional large and small, so you can cut 2 large and 2 small at one time. But I needed 3. Excuse me. So I cut 2 ahead of time. And we're going to put that on. And then I'm going to take the Mossy Meadow and I'm going to take this grass and leaf image. And we're going to run those through the mini all at one time. Now I could slide those over and probably do, well, let's try that. Because I think I could do it and then just get this. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to line this up real quick. Save us another pass. Let's see if you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take another piece. And I'm going to put this at the end here, and it's going to go off my paper, and that's fine because I'm going to shorten this this banner piece anyway. So I'm going to tape that down so it stays in place, and I'm going to put that on. And because I'm shortening, it doesn't matter if I cut all the way. Okay, it only matters when you're lengthening. So now we've got all of those pieces, and we'll have to run the machine one more time. So I've got my flowers, and that'll give me all of my flowers. I've got my stems and my grass piece. Okay, let's get that to pop out of there. And we'll put these away so they don't get lost. And here's our little mouse. Okay, so we can get rid of those pieces. And let's fix this. So again, this die has a little indentation at the edge, which makes it easy to line back up. So I'm just going to take my die, set that down. Oh, it's warped a little, so I'm going to take and put some gentle pressure right in the middle. Okay. So it doesn't feel quite locked in. You can feel it when it locks in. There we go. It locked. It's locked in now. I'm going to move that back just a titch. Oh, I moved it. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to flip this around. Because in this particular case, now I don't want to recut where I already cut, just in case I'm off a hair. So I'm only going to put my cutting plate just to the end of where I need that to cut, of where I didn't cut before. Okay, so run that through, and that's where I'm at. So now when I bring this out, I have shortened that banner to fit my needs here. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces, and we can start to make and assemble our box. Okay, let's go ahead and bring in those other flowers that I pre-made. Got those in here. And let's make our treat box. So we're going to take a 4x6 inch piece of cardstock, and I've got Misty Moonlight, and you can get 3 of these out of a sheet of 8.5 by 11 inch paper. Okay, so I recommend that you cut a 4-inch strip, 4 by 8.5 inch strip off, and then with the remaining piece you'll cut the 8.5 inch side twice at 4 inches, and then cut those at 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our scoring tool for this, and we're going to first score this on the 6-inch side at 3 inches right down the center. I'm going to flip to the shorter 4-inch side. At the 2-inch side, I'm just going to put a little mark with my stylus. I'm not actually scoring, I'm just marking. You could do this with a pencil, but I don't like to do it with a pencil because then I got to try and erase. So I can see that, so I can put this away. We'll grab our Stampin' Pierce mat, or any mat. You could use a piece of soft foam. You need a ruler. I'm going to go ahead and bend this now just so you can see the score mark a little bit easier. Okay. And then I'm going to take that 2-inch mark right here, and I'm going to put my stylus, the ball of my stylus tool right there. And I'm going to bring my ruler down to the score mark. And I'm going to score that. Okay. And then I'm going to rotate that to the other side, and again at that mark with my stylus ball down to the score line, and then I'm going to flip it and repeat the same thing on the other side. Okay. All right. So now I've got triangles here. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold at the triangle. Fold on that score line that we made. And this score line. Okay. And then this score line. All right. Now we've got everything scored. And when we put this together, we're going to have a little triangle box. Okay. I didn't want my triangle box to be plain. So I've taken the Cute Crochet 3D embossing folder. And I've laid this in here. It just fits inside the folder. So go ahead and lay that in and run that through your die cut machine. And when you do that, you will have this. Okay? So now we're ready to assemble our box. So I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue here, keeping in mind that I don't want to go above this section here or right in the corner. So I'm just going to run this like this. And that I can go a little bit higher. Okay. So I'm going to line that up and line those sides up evenly. Give that a press. Okay. I'm going to get those out of my way, and I'm going to go in with my bone folder and really burnish that down. Okay. So that's one side of our box. Now I actually did not seal the second side of my box. What I'm going to do at this point, because it makes it easier to get your treat in and out, and I have, let's see, 6 Hershey's Kisses here. Of course, they're the special dark because dark is my favorite. And I'm just going to take and put these in here. Well, I'm not going to do that at the moment. Hang on. I got ahead of myself. And make sure I do that. And I'm going to grab a 1/8 inch hole punch. Okay. And I'm going to hold this together. And I'm going to go in here with my hole punch. And I put a little hole right there where those 2 pieces of cardstock join. Just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Okay. So I've got that. I'm going to take and throw in my chocolates. Okay. So I've got my box full. I maybe could get another 1 or 2 in there, but it's okay. This is good. Now to seal this up, I'm going to use some ribbon. And in order to get that through there, I'm going to use one of these little flossers. So I'm going to put that in and hope it stays when I don't drop it here. Okay, so I've got a hold of that. Now I'm going to take my ribbon and pull that through with that flosser. I like to tie on the bolt so I don't have any waste. So I'm just going to tie this up. Make a bow. And this is the petal pink and white diagonal trim combo. Okay, so I've got a nice bow there. And then I can just trim this off. And my box is now sealed. It's ready for decoration. Let's get that done. Okay, so we're going to bring back in our banner piece, and I'm going to take this Mossy Meadow grass piece, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue. I don't want to go too high because this is going to hang off of the top. So be careful when you put your glue on that you don't go past the first leaf on the tallest petal there. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's take our little mouse and get some Stampin' Dimensionals. And again, you got to pay attention because he's going to be taller than the banner, so you've got to keep those pretty low. I'm going to stack these pretty much right on top of each other, just like that. And that'll give me some good contact. All right, so we've got that. Now let's go ahead, we'll bring this back in here and put it here. And then I'm going to take those petals and we're going to get some glue dots. And I'm likely to run out here. I am running out already. Okay, so I'm going to take my smaller petals first. And I'm going to put those on. Let me grab my new roll. I had one ready here because I knew I was getting low. I don't think we had these blue tapes on here before. The tape is not wanting to peel up. That is some serious tape. Okay. We'll fix that up. Excuse me. I wish I could get rid of this cough. But it just doesn't want to go. Okay, so now I'm going to take my smaller flowers and I'm going to put those on my larger flowers. Oops, but before I do that, hang on. I wanted to put a little extra color on these larger flowers, just so that they didn't look exactly the same as the top pieces. So I'm just going to take and get some of that petal pink, and then I'm just going to tap my flower, or petunia pop, not petal pink. I'll just put a little bit of extra color on there. And it doesn't matter really if I hit the center, but I need to have the outside petals. Okay, so that's just going to give me a little bit of added dimension. A little bit of extra depth there. Okay, now we can take those petals and add those to our larger flowers. Some of these new glue dots are extremely close to the others. Okay, so we've got that. All right, and then I'm going to bring back in that Stampin' Pierce mat. And I'm going to take the center of my Take Your Pick tool. And I'm just going to give those a press. Okay. And then we'll go back to the glue dot. Or no, I don't need to go back to the glue dots. Never mind. This is what I love about these. Is you can just take and put a dot of glue right here. And then we'll set these on here. So I'm going to bend back a bit. There we go. And then I'll go back with my Take Your Pick tool and give those a press and burnish that onto that little glue dot, that little glue. Now let's grab some, let's see, I want the 2024-2026 in color shimmer dots. And I'm going to take a little Pretty in Pink one. And I'm going to put those in the centers of my flowers. And again, I'm going to give those a press with my Take Your Pick tool. And then we're going to add this with dimensionals. Wherever I set them down at, because I didn't put them away like I should have. Oh, I put my glue dot box on top of them. So this is going to go off the side a bit, so I'm going to keep my dimensionals down a little bit lower. And then I'm going to put an extra one here and here for stability. So I don't want to go outside of my box. And again, this box template comes from Marissa Alvarez. Quick and easy. And you could make it even quicker depending on how you decorate. Okay, so I'm just going to set that about right there. Try and center that up. Make sure my Stampin' Dimensionals are not outside. And then we're going to take our sentiment. I don't know if these yet. Oh, look, if you put these on just so, they will fit. So let's go ahead and put these on. and pop this up, because we can have this as popped up as we want. We aren't mailing it. We don't have to worry about postage. Okay. So then we'll just take and set this right along the bottom here. I just want those one line of the dots on the bottom to show. Okay, and there you have it. There is our triangle treat box using the Hearts and Hugs stamp set that holds 6 Hershey's Kisses. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you so much. If you like what you saw, be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and click on that notification bell so that you'll be sure to know the next time I post a video. All right, and I'll see you back here next Thursday night at 7 p.m. for another live video. Thank you so much. Good night.